I gave long talks. I did 60-second talks. I just stood up and introduced myself. Whatever I needed to do, I got up and took the actions every single week. And those actions every single week gave me courage, gave me confidence, gave me skills that I could then get up in front of stages. And I remember I got paid $500 for my first speech, then $1,000, then it was $2,500, then it was $5,000, then it was $10,000. And I thought, oh my gosh, $10,000 to speak for 45 minutes? This is crazy. Then it was $15,000, then $20,000, then $25,000. And that just blew my mind. I go, $25,000 is more than I made in a whole year a couple of years ago. And I go, this is unbelievable. Now, granted, I was a truck driver and a bouncer on the weekends, making $250 a week, truck driving and bouncing, making maybe $150 on a weekend. And I was just hustling around to make money. But I was like, man, in 1 hour, speaking made $25,000. It blew me away. And this is when I was in my 20s, right? I'm in my mid to late 20s when this happens. Doesn't it go, wow, what if I didn't take action on those fears? What if I didn't make that fear list and write this down? What if I didn't get a coach and mentor to guide me and give me the tools and the action steps to take for the next year? What if I didn't show up every single week? What if I allowed that fear, that insecurity, that doubt, that judgment that held me back, that made me play small? Where would I be today if I kept playing small instead of started small and built with consistency over time? $25,000, believe it or not, went to $30,000. Then I said, what if I just charged $50,000? I wonder if anyone will say yes. And they did. And I just goes, oh my goodness, $50,000 for an hour speech? This is more than most people make in a year around the world. That's when perspective really hit me, and it said, I'm not smarter, I'm not more talented. I was in the bottom of my class throughout all my schooling. Everyone that I'm speaking to is smarter than me. Everyone that I'm speaking to has more skills, more talent than me, is better looking than me, is healthier than me, all these things. But I was willing to have the courage to go master a skill set of learning how to speak on stage and overcoming the fear. And I just kept at it. I kept trying. I kept working. I kept creating that skill set. And I'm still not the best speaker that I can be. I can still be better. There are still people that I look at that I'm like, wow, they are so charismatic. They're so funny on stage. They have their research. They have statistics. They have, props that they use that just captivate the audience. I'm nowhere near that. I still don't look at myself as where I'm capable of being. And I know I have a long way to go to get there. But 50 turned into, believe it or not, $100,000 a speech. And now I remember thinking, oh my goodness, $100,000 for an hour. I'm so grateful. I'm so blessed. But it wasn't without 10 plus years of public speaking training and lots of speeches every single month for years. Then it turned into $150,000 a speech. And now it's up to $200,000. And I just thought to myself, if in 2008, I wasn't willing to do this, what was that, 17 years ago? This is 17 years of weekly, consistent action, overcoming a fear and insecurity to developing a skill set, to be able to create that type of financial opportunity. And I'm not saying you could do this overnight for yourself. You can't go from not being able to speak in front of a few people to making 150 grand in an hour. I'm not saying that's something to strive for. But I do know that when you get started and you take action on your fears, you can create more opportunities for yourself in this season of your life, whatever that is. And for me, that first $500 and then $5,000 was a massive jump in my life. It just blew me away, and I was so grateful and blessed for the opportunity. But I know that if I didn't take action and overcome the fear, it would have never happened. And today, I wouldn't have that opportunity. So I want you to pick something that you've been waiting to be ready for. I want you to take imperfect action this week on it. Schedule the time with the coach and take action. email someone, launch the blog, launch the YouTube, write a post online, pitch the idea, whatever it is, because clarity doesn't precede courage. It follows it. So start before you feel ready, and clarity comes from action. And the last key for this is to use the mirror test. Will this matter in 30 years? In 10 years, you won't even remember their names, but you'll never forget the dreams you gave up because of them. Oh, I don't know about you, but there's still kids' names I remember in middle school, elementary school even, because I got picked last on a recess for 2 teams in a dodgeball game one time, and 2 people were the captains and picked players one by one. And I'll never forget this because it was 2 boys in the class, and they went one by one and started picking all of the boys in the class. And this is a co-ed class of maybe 30 of us kids, right? 15 boys, 15 girls. And they go around, pick one by one all the boys. And then I'm the last boy standing in the class. And I remember feeling really sad and down because I was about to be the last boy picked. And then something happened. The next person who chose, they picked a girl over me. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, the humiliation, the embarrassment. You know, imagine being in recess in the playground and they're picking boys and then all of a sudden they skip you. And then they pick the next girl and the next girl and the next girl, all the way to the last 2 people. It's me and, a tiny little girl that's like the worst athlete in the school, and me. And I remember just feeling humiliated standing there thinking, please pick me, right? Just like, I'm already humiliated. And then they pick the girl last. And they don't even pick me. I just go to the next person who had the last pick. So you didn't even call my name. That's how insignificant I was in 3rd grade. That's how unathletic, that's how insignificant, that's how, forgotten I was at this moment. And I remember just being so humiliated. I was so humiliated. And for whatever reason, there was like a fire that lit up in me. I'll admit I was angry, but it was a fire. And I was just like, I will never be picked last again. Never. And that turned into just thinking, how can I be useful? How can I be valuable? How can I be useful? How can I add more value? And if I get picked last in life in something, like, it's not a big deal because I'm good with me now. But at that moment, it forged like a fire within me to say, oh, this is how people see me, but maybe it's actually how I see myself. And if I start to just become more confident with me, more good with me, less insecure, by developing skills, by having courage, then if people pick me or don't pick me, I'm going to be good with me because I pick myself, because I never picked me back then either. So I love this. In 10 years, you won't even remember their names, but you'll never forget the dreams you gave up on because of them. And thankfully, I didn't give up on my dreams. Thankfully, I didn't say, I'm a nobody and no one loves me and the why me. And I'm just going to give up in life and just play small and stay stuck. I put myself out there constantly, and I faced the embarrassment and I faced the humiliation in all areas of life. And that developed character, courage, skill sets, competence in my life. But if I allowed those people to make me play small, then I wouldn't be here where I'm at today. Thank you for watching this video. If you want more inspiring clips like this, make sure to click right here to subscribe and click right here to watch that next video that is specific to support you in your life.